like the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's like you can be overly optimistic because you don't know how much challenge there are. For example, somebody can be like, you know what, you could be a doctor or a lawyer, but they don't tell you how much school you got to go to be one. They just tell you can be one. And it seems appealing until someone tells you the criteria. And I think when it comes to a lot of things in life, we get the enthusiasm first and we get the requirement second. You know?
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Man, my bad, Doc. Tay sent his love, man. He signed off.
But that's always been a challenge.
That's part of the reason why I never actually entered higher learning, because I saw my aunts getting business management degrees with the amount of time and work and effort that they had to put in. And
but I will tell you this, man. You already entered higher learning when you started asking questions. That's what all higher learning is asking questions and not being satisfied with answers that don't make sense. That's Absolutely. What it is. Because I can tell just by talking to you you've already begun to ask.
Go ahead, Ham.
No, I don't even know you that well, but I can just tell by talking to you for these few minutes that you've already got some kind of higher learning because you don't accept what's told to you. That's what higher learning is I'm not going to accept what you tell me. I'm going to investigate. And I think that's the idea of education, is to investigate. And if we ever stop investigating, I don't care how many degrees you got, once you stop investigating, you've already missed the boat.
And so
you submit it at that point.
And so I'm gonna tell you, Brandon is a person who I forgot I missed. And so he, because sometimes, man, history is forgotten. And so because and this is the beautiful,
it's seen with rose-colored glasses is what it
is. It's seen with rose-colored glasses, and it can easily be forgotten, even the good times, because unless there are markers. And so, Ham, please remind me again, your PhD specifically is in time-specific events, right?
Well, I do public policy, but I do punctuate equilibriums. So essentially, I study why we don't see any changes.
Okay, so that deals with time. That deals with the time. That deals with the equilibrium of time.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it's essentially why we don't get equilibrium in policy.
And so, understanding we'll say, central tendency. Oh, here we go. Hey, fuck with me right now. Fuck with me. No, hold on, man. Shut up. The central tendency and the standard deviation. Brandon, the only reason I told you to shut up because I'm practicing my statistic talk because I'm in the class right now. PhD level. I'm talking to somebody who's already did that. I'm talking to my big brother. So understanding that I lived a life knowing who Brandon was to me, but forgot who he was to me. And so, a situation popped up where we reconnected in a way that we hadn't reconnected in about how long, Brandon?
25 years.
It was years at least. 20, 25, but we're talking about, we have epic stories like, okay, Brandon, you ready? Tell the Texas story.
Lord, damn, you got your seatbelt on, sir?
Go for it.
So, I've always been a scrapper. So I wanted to get a load, which Tay was speaking of moving from Germany. That's where that guy was moving from. But I get an opportunity to take a load to Austin, Texas for a few $1,000s.
It's an Army soldier from Fort Benning.
So Fort Benning, Georgia to Austin, Texas. He went to Germany and basically lost his wife because you know how tempting Germany can be. So we had the opportunity to move this guy. I undercut the movers that he had by $1,000, and I take Calvin on the road with me. Literally, I'm giving you the fast version. Literally everything went wrong. Broke down on the way, had to move the furniture from one truck to the next after we broke down. Broke down in Jasper, Texas, or a metropolitan thereof. And remember, this is like 3 years after dude got drugged behind the truck in Jasper.
Oh, wow.
So
it was enough.
This is going
I'm only here to correct errors and irregularities, as we always tell this story for years. And it was longer than that amount of time, but it didn't matter the amount of time for the progression of the area, for it to be a magnification of fear at that moment, to say that, hey, you know, 25 miles down the road, that's where that black man got drugged within the past couple of years. That's still relevant to us to fucking care about. Continue, Brandon.
10, but just know where the fuck you at, type shit.
Yeah.
And so may I I'm gonna take over real quick because I love you. And so throughout this whole trip, and correct me now, sir, and we go back and forth like Jada Kiss and Styles P if you want to. So and so once we got to this line, because at the end of the day, that U-Haul broke down in Louisiana, and so me being an early maintenance guy and him being the jack of all trades, we walked to a gas station, put some oil in it, and made it through. Made it all the way to the Texas line. When we got to this Texas line, we had a cell phone, but it was not 2023, sir. It was 2001 or 2. And I was actually using my sister's cell phone, which had minutes. And I used the minutes to text ladies and maybe talk to them. All right, cool. So by the time we broke down in this U-Haul, sir, we had no minutes. And so what ended up happening is I called the police. Oh, good God. You know, black people still call the police, right? And so I called the police.
Hey, not this one.
Hey, we at that time, what Brandon said, 45 years ago, and I'm only 40. And so 45 years ago, when we had to call the police to come get us out of this situation because we had no choice, the cab driver who eventually picked us up told us about this black guy being drugged. Now, we had a U-Haul full of shit. We were close to Beaumont, Texas. We stayed in Beaumont for the night, probably talked shit, whatever. In the morning, we got our replacement U-Haul, went back to this U-Haul that we left on the side of the road, moved all the stuff off that U-Haul and put it on the new U-Haul. Now we're cruising. We get to Houston. All right, Brandon, go ahead.
So we deliver in the back of a damn apartment complex that we had to walk all the furniture to. Like so many trials to just get the shit delivered. So, you know, victory, we're done. And now we want to relax. Tried to buy some beer. Dr. Ham, you ain't seen me. I'm 42 years old, but I look like I'm probably 30 on my best day.
That's true. And so 25 years ago, he probably pause. Time out, Brandon. This is the same friend that I had his ID because he's 2 years older than me. I had his ID before I was 21. And so, you know, if
my shit and I couldn't even get in.
Can I tell the story? Thank you. And so from the standpoint that me and him exist to the point where I can be rude to him in public and everybody will understand that I love him. He's my big brother. And Only I can do that to him. And with all due respect, sir, sorry for cutting you off. This is the same person that I can use his ID to get into a club, and he can use his ID, and they'll tell him, no, boy, you faking. Get the hell out of here. Same, right?
Night.
And so to the point where people call him a vampire now because he still looks so young. And so we try to go get beer and
couldn't get it because nobody believed I was 21, which I was fresh 21.
And he had the ID.
So I try to get some weed from these Mexicans that pull up next to us at the traffic light. We followed them in the U-Haul, and I get the U-Haul stuck. Had to get a tow truck, called a tow truck, but another dude with a dually pulled us out. But this is more money that's coming out. So literally, we do all of this. I catch up with a friend in Houston after this shit was done. Calvin's use of the cell phone the whole time we was driving there paid off on the way back, which he ended up hitting some chick in the U-Haul.
Hey, man. We're recording right now. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. So at the end of the day, and let me finish it up, Brad. At the end of the day, what you're hearing, Ham, is a part of me, right? Like when I talk to you, just like I talk to anybody, I'm completely vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like I actually have no problem airing all my business on any platform, right? But I know that it doesn't benefit me. I know that it doesn't benefit me, you know, because at the end of the day, somebody's going to have something to say. And then I'm going to end up having to get all the way back to my Columbus roots and say something to touch their soul to get them to leave me the fuck alone. Right? Because just like we get back, everybody just want to exist, right? Regardless of what they come from. I can tell you like this, Ham. As I'm talking to my boy Brandon, who I looked up to, and I still do, but now still support and try to. I want him to now be in my slipstream racing terminology, right? Because I had a recollection and an introspection to understand that this guy that we're talking to on the phone back in high school propelled me into popularity, and I did not even remember that shit. This dude that we're talking to on the phone at my high school, which was not a small high school, in a very diverse high school. This motherfucker won all around person his junior year.
What's all around person?
It didn't mean athlete. It didn't mean comedian. It meant the most all around person. Like collectively, this is the guy.
Like popularity?
It was pretty much a popularity contest.
Yeah.
No, I didn't win most popular. It was class favorite.
That's the fucking bitch. I got the fuck.
No,
man, fuck you,
popular
man.
Favorite is different.
Do you got the yearbook? Do you got the yearbook?
I'm saying you can be popular.
I'm saying.
So the only really question to differentiate is how many girlfriends did you have? Because that's the
no. Whoa.
Yeah.
Now. See, here's the thing. We're not going to talk about that.
Say less.
Not yet. The world is not ready. The world is not ready for the energy to which you just asked the question. And it might seem simple, but it's not, because we're talking about people, we're talking about elevated souls in the fact that shut up. We're talking about elevated souls.
Hey, elevate your soul.
No. Now feel me. Only reason, here's where I make my money. Ham, here's where I make my money. It don't matter. Smoke, drink, whatever. Motherfucker told you he met me smoking a blunt at 14. I don't care. The money is to be made here.
Calvin, you're a 180 from 14, sir.
What? Fuck. I know that shit, man. But to understand that our consciousness dealt with the feminine energy in such a way that we were almost disrespected by it.
Yeah.
No. Listen to me, Ham. You a smart motherfucker, right? And see, I speak an intellectual hood term where I talk where everybody can fucking hear it, right? Understand that our divine feminine energy supported us and disrespected us at the same time.
You was too nice to the girls. You was too nice.
No. Deeper. Dig deeper. No, hold on, Brandon. Let me. The spiritual energy into which some of my kinfolk come from, like my brothers and shit, we come from single mothers who were ambitious but was still fucking disrespectful. So to understand the feminine energy that which we come from, we have a high level of respect for women. And at the same fucking time, we can objectify them all the way up to that same fucking level. And so
and we were masters of our craft.
Let me walk this thing out.
Now,
The masters.
I gotta make it short because I'm about to, 5 a.m.
Oh,
me.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and finish it. Before you go. Sorry.
But no, I'm just saying, like, Dr. Ham, absolute pleasure. Watched you a few times on the podcast. And definitely want to revisit these conversations, especially
100%.
on topic. But
yeah, man.
Just real quick though. This is a statement I wanted to reiterate. So I'm literally a product of Brown versus the Board of Education. So I get the accoutrement of white culture with the reality of my neighborhood. And my neighborhood is probably one of the most diverse Black areas in my hometown, which is the petition that we started. But, I got the privilege of getting.
Hello?
I heard say he got the privilege of, and then he cut out.
What'd you say? You got the privilege of what?
No, he said that he was saying his area was diverse and he had the privilege of something, but then he cut out.
Yeah, his phone cut out and it's tweaking. And so to finish his thought, what he was saying is that, because I know kind of the essence of what he was saying, it was he lives in a place of privilege, understanding, enlightenment, but his situation is perpendicular to a situation where he said Brown versus education. He knows that he's whitewashed, but he has an internal plight that continually fights against that, where he'll rather be on the blue collar struggle side than be a Black privileged pompous asshole.
Oh, well, because it's always beneficial to understand your place. It is. I think that you're going to get more satisfaction. That's why everybody likes the underdog story. We like the underdog because we understand that when the underdog wins, it's more beautiful. It's because they've had to come from so much to get there. So I think that, you know, you're seeing a lot of people who are becoming more I think I say sympathetic, but I think they're becoming more aware of our plight, because they are, once you become educated about our system, it does two things. Well, first, it can create a demand on you to respond to it. Like, once you become aware, you have a choice to make. That's why they say ignorance is bliss, because when you don't know nothing, there is no choice. But as soon as the more you learn, because you're going to see this too, man. Once you start when you start interacting with some of these professors, you know, and some of these places, you're going to find out, man, that it's going to be very easy to compromise for expediency.
Right.
It's easy because it's like, because
hold on,
you're
what does
talking.
that mean? What does that mean? I know you're about to tell me that, but now I'm about to get. I want to get very specific. What does that
So
mean?
what I mean, so what I mean, what I'm saying is that, like, it's like you'll have an idea or thought, and instead of the professor or the teacher cultivating that thought, helping you to bring that thought out, how to study, they do the opposite sometimes.
How to flesh it out, like they would say.
Yeah, sometimes they don't know how to do it with some of our thought. They don't know how to. And
who is our? Who is our? Me and you, to people who have maybe.
I would say this: the majority of academia is white people, and when Black people primarily go to get doctorate degrees, it becomes usually the things that we want to study, the subject matters that we study, tend to upset structures, and for two reasons. One is because our scope is large. It's large. We don't, and so in some instances they want to narrow your scope, and it's always not negative. It's always not negative, but it's designed, I think, to create a system where here's a great example. You start off wanting to boil the entire ocean, but by the time it's over, you just want to boil an egg. If that makes any sense.
It makes all the sense in the world, and I hate that it makes that much sense. Yeah. Holy shit.
You want to boil the ocean, but then you just set up for like one egg. And that egg.
But you know what? As you speak in that same term, you would have to be a person to know that the ocean is slowly boiling. Go ahead.
But that's part of the challenge. And so it's like, part of the challenge is that it's like you're doing psychology, right? Psychology?
Industrial and organizational psychology.
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful, man, because I think that when you start to look at a lot of the frameworks that you're going to be looking at, you know, it's always important to know that you are building on something. You're building on something.
I'm glad that you said that, because again, I'm a person that's very, very vocal and very vulnerable on who I am. And so I'm able to tell you that I am, like I always tell you, very lucky to even be on this platform with you, and to have you as not only a person I admire, but as a person who's just like a peer, right? It's like I'm the person, just like you said earlier, I take all good concepts and apply them to me. I am just nothing but a collection of great ideas.
Yeah.
Because I am nothing but a learning machine. And due to the fact that I adopt the process improvement mindset, the only thing that I believe in is universal truth.
Yeah.
And so
And
since that's the case, oh, go ahead, sir.
No, I was gonna say, man, and I think that's part of the challenge that you're starting to see here is that there is a lot of information, primarily in research, that was created as truth, but it was a lie at the highest level. Like the whole theory of evolution was a lie. That whole black people came from monkeys, that was a lie. And but this was at the time the prevailing thought. This is what academia was pushing. And I think that it's powerful now that we can go and expose some of these lies that were once universally accepted as truth, or ideas that were not challenged through academia, and I think that's part of where we start to see the trickle down effect of knowledge, is that we're creating this so we can now so we can now begin to not say right wrong, because I think that's too lofty of a goal to say as an individual, to right or wrong. But I think of it as to be a part of the righting of the wrong, because there are many people, and I think that's what you'll see in the chapter 2 when you review the literature. You're going to have to read what's already been written about what you're writing about, so one, that you have original ideas, but you understand that the frameworks that you're building off of are a part of a larger narrative. Like, I'm adding my voice to what the prevailing ideas of at the time of that I'm writing this are. And I think that's the biggest, I think the biggest challenge is that you have something to say. And I think that's from dealing with a lot of, like, I dealt with imposter syndrome, and it's like, yes, you have something to say. And it's like, I have something to say that needs to be said. And for most of the time, that is challenging for people.
So let me ask you this, man, because you have a really good realistic perspective of ambition, impatience, and understanding that it's not negative, it's not a fixed mindset, but it sits so close to the line of understanding that there is potential, but understanding the restrictions at the same time. And you sit at this very perfect spot. You sit at this very perfect spot of understanding that. And I think I do, but I want to tell you that I want to give you your flowers and tell you that you maintain a composition and disposition that remains unfeathered. And man, continue doing good work, man.
No, I encourage you too, man. Like I said, man, I know a little bit about the process, and I know that a lot of times, man, it is a lonely journey, and it's designed to be that way. It's designed to be a lonely journey. And I think that the idea of what pushes you, because I think this, man, I think that when you sign up, you already are ahead of the game. Just the signing up. And to me, that's always the first step is always the hardest step. Because once you sign up, you're like, man, I could do this. I could do this. And then I think that when you start to put your hands to the plow, you start to think to yourself, like, man, we're doing something here that's not just about me or that I want to learn, but it's like I'm learning for those who couldn't, But like, and I know, man, I finally realized why they outlawed reading for slaves. I never understood why it wasn't like, why couldn't he read? What's the big deal? But now I know why. Because once you start to read and educate yourself, you can't be a slave anymore. It's impossible. Because you will connect with the story.
No.
And you'll be like, wait a minute, you ain't no better than me. You put your pants legs, just like I put my pants on. So this idea, and I encourage you, man, like I said,
man, listen, you said something You just said something that hit me. Man, as I enter this program, there's a lot of this is new ground.
Yeah.
It's new ground, but I'm not. The scariest thing about this whole new ground for me right now is the first class that I have to take, and it's statistics.
Yeah, that's kind of.
No, but you know what? There are two ways you can approach life. You get the hard shit out the way, and it becomes easy.
Yeah.
Or you prolong the hard shit, and then you do the hard shit. Either way, you're gonna have to do the hard shit.
Oh yeah. I just think of it like a drug dealer gives you the first few hits for free
For free.
until you get addicted, and then you start paying out of your own pocket because you want the feeling. And I look at education as this idea that you're not getting anything for free, but you are getting more vested, more stake. Like it's easier to walk away from a marriage at 6 months than it is at 6 years, as opposed to 16 years, because you have more stake, more invested. And I look at it like
sunken cost bias.
There you go. Sunken cost bias. Exactly. Sunken cost bias keeps people in things longer because they feel that it is just beneficial to keep going. And so when I start to look at this idea that you're not just starting something, because I look at it like you have to be able to see the end first. You have to be able to see the end, because if you can't see the end, it's like they call it the light at the end of the tunnel, the proverbial light. So as you get close to the end, it starts to get brighter and brighter. But initially, it's not bright because you're starting, so you don't see the end of the tunnel. So you just see this long ass tunnel. I see 70 something credits or blah, blah credits, and you don't see that. So, but the idea is to say, I'm going to be able to incrementally see more as I go on. And as I get more confidence, and not just confidence for the program, confidence in this idea that I am going.
You can do it. You can do it.
But it's like what? I will tell you this, man. What I started to study, I would have not studied after I finished my study, because what I learned along the way changed what I thought.
That's the way it's supposed to be, though. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but I was thinking, I did not realize, to your point about psychology, I did not understand the role that psychology plays in policy as severely. I didn't know how important that was, because I thought all we gotta do, we can fix that. All we gotta do is just do this, and this, boom, bam. It's like, no, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so therefore you have to account for that reaction before
and that's physics.
That's physics, but it's also psychology about how to move the Overton window, how to expand the aperture.
And you're absolutely right. And you're absolutely right.
That how deeply ingrained that is.
Well, so if you take that, Doc, if you take that system of thinking and to build upon like the whole concept, So let's just say, like, I'm getting this PhD because it's going to substantiate a thought that I already had, right? Yeah. So let's just say I'm a big thinker. I have education, but I know that something exists. I can actually write it out right now if I took the time, and I wouldn't even need to get the doctorate, but I would have to spend probably twice as much time trying to substantiate my thought inside of this particular academia and credibility that we have in his life, when I can use this PhD program to publish and do everything that I'm already doing already, and get the Eurocentric credibility to tell people to fuck you and what I'm saying.
They love that, man. They love it. But I will tell you, man, that it's so important that, you know, I will tell you that if you get to a point that if you feel discouraged, you're on the right path. If that makes any sense.
I'm already discouraged.
So you're good. No, I'm saying that because I think that there are a lot of people who do all the coursework and they get ABD, all but dissertation. Because the idea is, I know how to do it. I know how to do this, but I don't know what I want to do it on. Like, I think that becomes a challenge, because it's easy, I think, to get the knowledge. But for the first time in your life, you're going to have an assignment and nobody is going to tell you what it's about. And most people have a hard time because our whole academic life, we are given an assignment and we complete an assignment. And this is going to be the only time that nobody's giving you an assignment. Nobody's giving you an assignment. And so now you have to make the assignment and then complete the assignment at your own leisure.
God has already given me my assignment, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. See, and this is what I mean, that when you say God, you're speaking on behalf of yourself.
Correct.
Because who else would God use his voice to speak to you through? Who else could? That's what I mean. This is a personal thing.
So if we were to speak to that specifically, individually, I would say that these are things that were told to me, and then I finally said, "Oh yeah, you're right."
No, but this is what I'm saying.
I was lucky enough.
No, and this is what I'm saying. So we don't know when the seed was planted. We don't know the original idea, but it's the combination or the culmination of many things that were said or that were told to us. But what I'm talking about is that when we get to a point where it's not taking the path that is least walked sometimes, and this is a challenge, because I think that when I first started off, it was something that has not been done, but then I didn't. That's not how I ended up. I ended up with, is it feasible? Like some of this stuff where it's like, well, what instrument or tool am I going to use to validate what I find? Well, I can make my own, but then that has to be validated. You know what I mean? The process is just built to be slow unless you expedite the process to finish. Because if
now let me ask you. Go ahead. I want to ask you this.
Because the goal is the goal should be to be done, to finish.
Right.
That should be the goal. The goal should be to finish.
And so with that, if I come to this program with shit that I already know that I want to lock down my study on, that puts me ahead of the game.
Yeah, I'm just talking about when it comes to the testing piece of it.
So let's just say that even though I know exactly what you're talking about, and that has been my life, you get somewhere, you think you're doing one thing, and then that changes, right?
Yeah,
and not changes in that it's a complete change, but it is a mutation and a adjustment, because that's what life's about. You think you know what you want until you actually get it, and then you start going. And so I'm at this point where I'm ready to break down my salt theory 4 different ways, right? So we talk about light as a consciousness,
No, and that's no. Before you talk about that, that's what I'm saying. So when you are going to do your dissertation, you're not going to use your theories in the introductory part of it, because you can't study your study with your theory, because that they won't allow that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They won't allow that, and that's why I find that the challenge becomes is because there's going to be some validity, this external and internal. I think of it like this: you're going to use a framework that some researcher has already established to look at the phenomenon.
But that's the beauty of what I'm doing, though, Ham. So every single thing that I'm already talking about stands on the shoulders of graduate work already. And so as as I talk to you, I'm saying that I have this theory that I'm putting together, but to understand, not to outshine the master, and to understand that I have to lean back and find all these other things to come back to substantiate. I have 4 different things to lean back on right now that is above me and beyond me that I happen to be standing on right now that I can completely exonerate myself from and say, oh, let's learn. But due to the fact that I'm a system thinker on the practical level and the graduate level, I can combine and understand how they all apply it the same way. And so as I exonerate myself from the thoughts, I will bring them right back and be like, and so, like I was saying, based on this research and the way you because all you do is use their fucking words against them. And I've learned that because I've learned there's been a power complex that I can't say one thing by myself. I have to combine all the powerful information that exists.
So in your chapter 5, you will be able to say to use your words.
Okay.
After you've done the research, because you're going to have to say, what are your conclusions? What are your recommendations and stuff like that? So there is a point built in there for your voice to come out, the scholarly voice to come out. It's just before they hear it, it's getting through all of the minutia first.
Oh,
and that's what I mean. Like that's what I think the most frustrating part is because it's a structure. It's a very structured thing they want. Because it's written in sections, but they'll get to a point where what school are you going with too?
Adler University.
They should have a checklist, a dissertation checklist. Yeah,
no,
and so and so you start to see that, and you start, okay, I need this, I need that. You got. Well, you don't have a chair. So once you finish all of your coursework, you'll get a chair and a committee. And I will tell you, in my personal experience, the committee can be like they can literally help you so much if they want to, or they can try to slow roll you. I've seen it both ways. I've seen people.
Luckily, I played the bureaucracy game to the legal standpoint to understand how to finesse the balls to get the shit to pop off.
Oh yeah, because that helps, man. It helps a lot, man. I will tell you. I think that if it wasn't for my chair, man, I probably would have just gave up a long time ago. I'd have been like, man, fuck this shit. But
I'm a person, just like I told you. I have no problem bearing my soul. Honestly, I'll go straight to a professor right now. Hey, professor, God of this course, I need your guidance throughout this whole, because at the end of the day, I'm only praising him for where he's at. Because you remember what we talked about, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not praising him. I'm giving him what he thinks he is, right? Yeah. And if he doesn't, he will quickly correct me and say, hey, I'm just a human being trying to help you. How can I help you? But if he thinks he's a god in the course, he's going to say, well, sure, I'm here to help you whatever you need.
Hey, or you come across all different kinds, man. But I tell you, man,
and I'm ready
for yeah, man. Yeah, man. Good stuff, bro. But look, Hey, to be continued, bro. Like I said, the SPS. Let me know, man. You got the app. What was
Bro,
it? The program.
listen, I'm day 2,
Oh, you just
and
started. Oh
I
man.
just I just started yesterday.
Oh shit. Okay. That's what's up,
Bro,
bro.
I haven't even pulled up all the stuff because I'm still kind of getting through the syllabus, and then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got overwhelmed. And I was like, let me take her. Let me go sell this house real quick so I don't have to worry about anything.
You
I'm
selling the house?
kidding. No.
Oh,
Hyperbole. But what I'm
okay.
saying is I'm doing all this positive procrastination because I just saw that damn syllabus. I was like, let me get my life together real quick. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because it's definitely something to know if you have an issue early on. Because some of that stuff requires a little extra outside of course. Like, hey, because
Yeah,
a lot of times I had to go on YouTube and watch a video because I read this stuff. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about, bro. And I got to go on YouTube and watch a video of somebody doing this shit. I'm like,
bro, you ain't got to listen. With that being said, good brother doctor.
hey, future doctor, future doctor, hey,
I'll,
future doc, hey, I'll be there.
I'll take my honorary right now. Just give it to me.
Hey, bro. But see, the beauty of it is that once you in a doctorate program, nobody knows how long you've been in that program. It's your second day. You could have been in this over 3 years. Hey,
That's what I
hey,
say. I said
hey,
I said,
you be like, yeah, I'm working on this program. About to get this PhD. You know what I'm saying? Get the initials in front of my name. Yeah.
I'm trying to get it, man. I'm trying to be like you.
You be encouraged, bro. All right.
Stay
Holla.
up. Peace.